Well, you and Randy had a great feud, though. That was a great feud because at that time it was getting, I don't want to say stale. It was great on the top, but the undercard was getting a little stale, and then you and Randy came along, and you guys lit it up.
Yeah, it was so intense out there. The first time, I worked with Randy in house shows, he was so light. And I thought to myself, no wonder this guy's been able to wrestle this long. But the first time he touched me, when the camera was on, I seen a big blue flash right there. He was coming. I was like, oh, we're taking it up 5 or 10 steps, I see. Okay.
Yeah, that's great. I remember that feud, too. It was great. And then you guys had all those great promos against each other, too.
My favorite.
I mean, the promos that him and Liz were cutting in the backstage on you guys, that one he had at the pay-per-view about get me some Slim Jims, Liz, and I was dying. I go, this feud is dynamite. Dynamite.
Yeah.
And then you guys had
Randy,
that.
one of my favorite.
Yeah, you guys had that Falls Count Anywhere, though, too, right? What was that, at Bash or at Bash at the Beach, right?
No, that was at Halloween.
Oh, was that?
No, wait, but yeah, Falls Count Anywhere was Bash at the Beach. That was Bash at the Beach. That's the one I got knocked out in.
Yeah.
And I don't remember past Scott Hall hitting me with his finish, because what happened was they were going, go home, because, you go past the 3-hour mark, and it shifts to the next show.
Yeah, like you and Goldberg
so if you don't get out by 3 hours, you're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened is, the last time I remember is the rep screaming, we got to go home. And the next thing I know, I'm walking backstage with Kimberly.
Wow.
And I'm literally walking when I come into my body. And I look at what I'm wearing, and I stop, and I look at Kim, and I go, did I just wrestle? And she said,
wow.
What?
Scary.
I said, did I just wrestle? She goes, stop it, Paige, you scared me. And then I freaked out. I was like, what the, Kim, what the hell's happening to you? What, is this Nitro? What's happening? She goes, no, it's a Great American Bash. You just wrestled Randy Savage. I was like, oh, God. I go, what happened? And when she told me what happened is, if you watch the end of that match, you'll literally see Randy get the cover. Scott has got the belt, what he just hit me in the head with, the tag team belt. He raises Randy's hand, and as it's getting ready to go to black, you see me sit up, just like Undertaker, but only halfway.
Yeah.
And then come down. I lay down. It goes to black. Now, here's what happens afterwards. I sit up again. I stand up. And, Victoria, you've just taken the belt, Scott's finish, and Randy's elbow, and you get up from that?
Yes.
While they're still in the ring? Oh, my God. They're in shock. I get up. I stumble back. I fall through the ropes. I give them both the finger, and I walk to the back. Now,
you don't remember that, though. Do you remember that?
No, none of it. None of it.
Very convenient.
So when she right. When she tells me that, I'm like, oh shit. So I gotta go. I go in the locker room. I take a table. I put the table between me and the door. And it's a pretty good distance, because I know the next thing has happened. This is like fighting in the back shit. This ain't your mama's wrestling right now. So this is about to get really dirty.
Ugly. So
I end up having them burst through the door, and when they burst through the door, they are mad as hell. And hold on a second, my daughter just walked in. And the man, how are you, girl? Okay, all right, guys. They kicked the door in, and they're like, "What the F?" And they're gonna go, "I was knocked out. I go, I would never do that. And they just look at me like, and they start cussing at me, and I move the table, and I go, if you think I'm lying, let's go. Like, I never do that. So with that, of course, they both walk out like they're cussing me as they leave. But now I feel in my right side of my face, it feels like a little golf balls in my mouth. And then it got bigger and bigger, and I go to the hospital. Now it's a softball.
Oh my
So
gosh.
now my face looks like Alvin the Chipmunk. They tell me I can't wrestle, but of course I went there on my own. I didn't go there with a company because they wouldn't have let me wrestle the next night. So of course, I'm not going to tell anybody. I go to the building the next day. My face is still swollen like Alvin, and I wait at the bottom in Chicago, and I waited at the bottom of the ramp, and eventually Randy's going to come in, and so. Finally, here he comes down the ramp, and I'm sitting there on one of the big speaker boxes. And as he walks in, he's got to walk right past me. He walks up to me. He looks at me. He pauses, and he goes, "Sorry, brother." And he just walked off. Because he knew he landed on my face and knocked me out.
Did they end up? Did Scott Hall did he apologize to you? Did everybody?
I don't remember that moment. I was too transferred to Randy was.
Okay.
Scott was he was MFing me, but Randy was Randy was really mad.